So now we hit Shammai. So Shammai says, Ose sorasecha keva, make your Torah fixed. Amar ma'at v'ase harbe, say little and do a lot. V'chavim makabel et kol ha'adam v'sever panim yafot. And you should greet all people with a sever panim yafot, with an expression on your face that's pleasant and pleasurable and beautiful to look at. Smile at people. Right? It was a person that I met the other day, and I had to go and tell my wife, I said that this young lady had the most amazingly beautiful, wonderful, full of life smile. Right? Just a teenage girl, but it's like you walk in the room and it's like, you're in love instantly, because she's just so happy, It's like strikingly, and just happiness pouring out of her eyes. It's like, wow. I guess because the rest of us are all old and cynical. But it was just like an amazing concept to walk in and just like the room is lit up by just this hugely optimistic, life-affirming, bubbly, smiling kid. It's like changed the whole day, changed my whole week. Greet people with a face that's not. So he says, Ose sorasecha keva. So is that Torah, Avoda, Gimnis, Sadim? It's Torah. Ose sorasecha keva. Make your Torah fixed. Make your Torah an anchor. So there's a few ways you can do that. He says your life should revolve around Torah. So here's some tools. One, make your Torah a fixed time. So for the last 23 years, every Thursday at 12 o'clock, we're doing Pirkei Avos. So we missed, they scheduled Thanksgiving for Thursday. So we missed Thanksgiving, right? When Yontif is on Thursday, we miss, that day. And over the 23 years, there have probably been, not counting the weeks I missed for surgeries here or there, there have probably been 5, 7, 10 tops Thursdays that we missed. But it's an anchor. When I have to schedule an appointment, when a call, a lawyer says I need to meet with you or want to talk, you would schedule a business appointment, a sales call, you're going to schedule something for next week. Even though that Thursday is 1 hour in the middle of my day, it influences everything. Because, all right, so I'm not going to schedule it for Thursday morning, so let's move it to Wednesday. We'll schedule it for Wednesday. Or it's going to be Thursday afternoon. But even though it's like only 1 hour sitting there, it means every time I make a scheduling decision, it's around that. And that means it's a proof to myself. It's a reminder to yourself that it's important. Because it's an anchor that just sits there in your week. And the reality, I'll tell you, after 23 years, everything in my week revolves around that hour. Because it's just sitting there in the middle of space, insisting that it's not going to change. It doesn't get canceled, it doesn't get moved, it doesn't get pushed away, unless it's absolutely unavoidable. But it's been a handful of times in decades. Pick a time and fix that time and be good. Because again, it picks up a weight far beyond what the thing itself is. Second, pick a subject and make that subject fixed. Right? So for me, it's Pirkei Avos. Right? My kids tell me, I want to give over a Devar Torah on Parsha, it comes out as Pirkei Avos. Right? I want to do a sales call, and it comes out as Pirkei Avos. I want to describe a life insurance product, and it comes out as Pirkei Avos. Whatever. Almost anything I talk about, right? There's like, at this point, having done the same piece of material dozens and dozens and dozens of times, has turned that piece of material into an anchor. Everything that I do in my life revolves around that piece of Torah. So he says, first step is try to find a time. Right? The idea is what you're trying to do is you're trying to make Torah itself a fixed anchor in your life. Also, sorasecha keva, make your Torah fixed, is that it needs to be your life. You want your life to revolve around Torah. So the tools he gives you is, one, pick a fixed time. Second, pick a fixed piece of material. Learn the same thing over and over. So again, for me that was Avos. For you it could be something different. But find something that you're constantly working your way through and that you gain a level of expertise in. But more, it's also sorasecha. It becomes your Torah. That when you try to think of ideas, it comes bubbling out. It's there. It's yours. It's part of you. Right? He says ultimately the key thing is that the same way that I find that my week revolves around that class, he wants your life to revolve around Torah. Right? That's what Torah is supposed to be. Torah is not about the number of pages you covered. It's not about the depth that you understand it. It's not about how elegant of a chiddush you can make on it. It's about making Torah the anchor in your life. That when you're making a business decision, when you're making a financial decision, when you're making a relationship decision, when you're making a parenting decision, the rock that's sitting there, that's fixed, that everything flows around, is Torah. Is this a Torah approach to whatever? Is it an appropriate approach to ever? Torah becomes the anchor. Then he says, Alma ma'at v'aseh harbe. So this is your connection to God. God is speech. Just don't talk. Just do. God wants you to do avoda. God wants you to serve Him. What's the key in mitzvahs? Then do it. Right? Lots of people are really happy to describe to you all the good they've done. Right? There's plenty of people who are happy to sing about all the mitzvahs they've done and all the chesed they've done and all the tzedakah they've given and all the charity. Right? He says the service of God is not about talking about it. Just do it. Just dig in, get it done, and accomplish something. Don't sing about it. And the last one is v'chabe makabel et kol adam b'sever panim yafa. So Shammai is always known as the strict one. And between Hillel and Hillel, right, people have this image of Shammai as the hard one. So his approach is, how do you deal with people? He says, I may be strict on my halacha. I may be machmir, I may be hard, I may be, right? I'm a firm, hard, solid guy. But you know what? I love you. When you walk into the room, you're not intimidated, you're not fearful, you never feel dissed, you're never dismissed, you're never... That he may have been the, right, the old loving grandpa, right? I always have that image of, right? He said, everyone he saw, he greeted with such joy and love, and an expression on his face of light, right? Of beauty. People should see you, and their day should be nice from having seen you. However, whatever else you're going to do, it should be that the way you interact with people is meeting you is beautiful. It's wonderful. You're a pleasant, good guy. You're not a grouch. You're not mean. You're not pushy. You're not selfish. You're not judgmental. You just, it really, when you walk in the room and a person looks at you and says, yeah, or whatever, it's a very different experience when you walk in a room and they say, hey, it's nice to see you. Right? Even the guys that are peripheral acquaintances of yours. Right? There's a lot of guys that we run into that we all know. We're all sharing this life together. But you're not one of my 7 best friends. You would have been if things had worked out differently. Right? We would have had more time. You'd be one of my best friends. But it hasn't quite worked. But still, you're my friend. We're fighting the good fight together. I love you. I smile at you. You feel good because I greet you with a face, with an expression of love. Okay, so that is Shammai. Right? So again, now that's his 3. Right? So Hillel did 3, now Shammai does 3. So Shammai says, how do you deal with Torah? Make Torah keva, make Torah the anchor at the center of your life. Everything revolves around Torah. Fixed time, fixed material, it's the anchor of your life. How do you deal with Hashem? Don't talk, do. God's all about getting it done. He's not about bragging about it. And how do you deal with people? Smile at them. Greet them with love. Right? That's what they want. People's lives are so lonely and so painful. But the very idea that you bring them into your life with love, that when they walk into a room, you smile and make them feel good. Mashal comes to your house and you look at him and you grumble at him. It's a totally different life. And if you smile, it's like, come in, sit. I mean, you may only give them 30 seconds while you go get a checkbook. Right? But, they're opening the door and they're, hardest thing in the world is, speed dating or any kind of dating. To ask some girl to open herself up and say, judge me. When a person comes into your life and they're saying, how are you going to accept me? You forget that they're people. You think that it's a cashier. You think that it's a clerk. You think it's a worker. It's like, that's a human being. That's a little fragile neshama hidden behind that skin, waiting to see how, behind that face, waiting to see how you're going to deal with them. Smile at them. Be nice to them. You may still have to tell them no, but be nice to them.